What's going on, guys, and thanks again for being here. For the new viewers, welcome to my channel. Today I'm reviewing a brand new set of 4 tube LED lights here. This is the GVM BD 100, which is literally 1 meter long tube lights. And also I'm going to be showing you guys here everything from the manual to every single thing they want to know about these lights, pretty much everything. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And the usual disclaimer, GVM sent me these lights for me to test it out. This video is not sponsored by GVM or anybody else. I don't get paid to say anything here, and all my words and opinions, they are my own. And I also think these lights, they are very pretty. When they were sent this light to me here, I was pretty excited. Just the fact, as soon as I saw a BD 100, I know this is actually almost a meter long light. So the length of this tube got me super excited. And also the job that they did here with the look of the light, with the black and everything here, the fonts and everything is black. And also the OLED displays here. So pretty much is a very attractive unit. And here's the actual case, which fits everything. The outside of the case is made of nylon, but inside you're gonna find some velvet type of material here. So the first thing you wanna do is to remove this Lollipop stand holder here, which fits perfectly in between the two lights, as you can see. So here's what it looks like when you get your brand new case. You wanna get this out of here, and as you can see, comes individually wrapped as plastic, but I actually recommend that you keep the plastic. So when I actually put it back here, it helps not to scratch the tube, even though these are sewn separately, so there are 4 compartments here. But I still like to put it back on the plastic. And as you can see, these tubes, they're pretty long. It's almost 1 meter long. This is why it's called the BD 100. I mean, the case provides a lot of protection because it's heavily padded, but if I were to get a little bit picky here, I would much rather have the case that has the custom molding here that we can actually fit the lights, you know, individually instead of like these little pockets here. And each one of these pockets come with the power supply and the power cord, but what I did here, I actually put the power supply separate here and the power cords right here. I think it's a much better way to fit this here. Just a little thing that I want to mention here, because the material these tubes they're made, which is PVC plastic, and this rubber here, is very difficult to slide the light through here. And not only GVM, but Godox makes the same exact material. So what I did was to install a little bit of Velcro here. Now it slides so easily and it doesn't scratch the tube. So I think they should change the material here, either put some microfiber cloth kind of fitting here, or some sort of a Velcro or a velvet or something like that. It'll be a lot easier, as you can see here. So I did a small modification here. And when you receive yours, even though it's a little bit slightly annoying to me, see this is not actually loose, even though it feels a little bit loose. What happened is I actually experienced the same thing with the Godox. The thread that actually put this thing together here is about 0.5 millimeter too high from the surface here, which causes a little wobbling. But this thing is actually fully tightened, and this is not going anywhere. But expect a little bit of a slight dangling here, as you can see. So you're looking at a BD 100, which is literally 1 meter long light, or close to 97 centimeters or something like that. And the working area here is about 30 inches where the LEDs are. But if you need a smaller tube, they also make the GVM BD 60. So regarding all the specifications, to keep the video going, I'm gonna leave it right there if you want to know all the geeky little stuff about the CRI, TLCI, and the weight of the light and everything. It's gonna be right here, so you can actually pause the video and take a look at everything that you want to know. So obviously, when you buy these lights, you want to be using the battery without anything plugged in the back here. But if you're doing interview or studio stuff, you know, plug the thing in, but most likely you guys are going to be using the batteries as well. So to get that out of the way, I actually made a time lapse to show you guys how long it will take from 100% until the light dies, how long it will take to kill these batteries here. And that also depends on what you're going to use. The CCTs, for example, on the 5600 degrees Kelvin, 32 or 42, especially the 42, it provides more brightness, which takes more juice out of the battery. And also depending on what color you select on the HSI here, some colors they require more power, some other colors they're not as bright, or it requires less power. Now to charge this light here, what I was surprised to see is that the gauge, it keeps going and going and going. So I was actually doing a time lapse for about 4 hours or more, and the gauge never stopped to a solid icon telling the batteries are fully charged. So I actually charged as long as 6 hours. So the thing is, with this light here, the gauge does not stop. It keeps going on an endless loop. So in this case, unfortunately, you're gonna have to guess when the batteries are fully charged. So, and obviously if there was a problem with one of the lights, maybe the other one would do this, but all all 4 lights, they're doing this. When you charge, you know, the little gauge on a charging mode, it doesn't stop, it keeps going, so they're all doing that. So the best way to charge this light is to put this light on a table on a nice, safe, flat surface, and then put the chargers and all. But if you want to charge this light using the actual holder here, keep in mind that the weight of the chargers, you know, is going to cause the thing to kind of pull down this way. So if you don't want that to happen, since remove the light and put it all the way to the end here, so you will balance one end with the other when you're actually charging this with the thing mounted on the stand here. So again, this is all about a guessing game here if your batteries are fully charged or when they will be fully charged. It is what it is. One safety feature this light has, as soon as you plug into the power supply from the wall, the power from the battery is immediately cut off. So all you have to do is to press again the power button, the light turns back on. And of course you can actually charge the light while you're plugging it in. So if you're doing like music videos or any application that requires the lights to be suspended in the air, you can actually use some fishing line or something close to that material, because this light only weighs half a kilogram or 1.1 pounds. So you can actually do that if you want. There's a little hole here in the back which allows you to mount that particular, whatever it is they want to use to suspend the lights to make them invisible or something. You have this option right here as well. So with this particular types of lights here, I'm 100% sure that you guys want to see me compare this light to another one with the NAND light power tube lights, but the fact that the way these lights look here, as you can see the LED is through and everything, so the closest light to compare to this price-wise and the way the LED looks like here is the Godox TL60. This is a 23-inch light on the actual working LED area here, but this one here is in excess of 30 inches, which can actually be quite useful, especially if you're shooting something close. You have more real estate of LEDs here. But this light, they consume about 30 watts each one, and the TL60 is only 18. A set of 4 of these and a set of 4 of these here, the price is nearly identical. Brightness wise is nearly identical. Again, it depends what you're doing with this light, and also the fact that the design is pretty much the same as far as the LED exposure goes here, because you can actually see the LEDs and you can also see the LEDs here. However, one advantage that the BD 100 has over this is because this light is actually set to 1%, and if you're shooting something like a astro time lapse, you know, the time lapse in the sky where everything is dark, it requires just a tiny little bit of light, especially for a 30-second exposure to a minute exposure. This tiny little weak 1% here is going to be very much in your favor. So this is the 1% of this light here, as you can see, is almost washing out the exposure of the camera. And these lights are actually set to 4% right here and 3% right there. Especially the new cameras there, you can shoot like, I don't know, 12,000 ISO clean and everything. So whatever that is, if you're required to shoot something with extremely high ISO to the 12,000 or something, and the subject or an object is very close to the light, you will need this very weak 1% here. So to me, this is a huge advantage to have something like this here. The Godox lights, I did not make a time lapse with the review, but I can actually tell you that this light lasts from 2 hours and under. Most applications here with the CCT cranked up and everything, this light lasts about an hour 40, an hour 45 minutes. And again, I'm gonna leave the screenshot here so you can see the TL60 and the BD 100 with the tiny little comparisons with the CRI, power consumption and all, so you can actually compare the both lights here. So here's this light at 1%, and I'm actually changing the lens here. Right now I'm shooting with the Canon 70-200. This is as dim as you can possibly get. So right now I'm pointing at my face and you see nothing, right? And again, I'm shooting at f2.8, as wide aperture as this lens can go. ISO 850, and the shutter is as slow as 1/75th of a second. Now the light is at 5%, you get this particular exposure here. Now the light is at 10%, you get this. And at 20%, you should get a pretty good exposure here as far as I can see on my monitor there. So this should be about right with the settings. f2.8, ISO 850, and the shutter is about 1/75th of a second. And one thing to notice here, some LEDs, they fall on the magenta side, other ones fall on the green side. Most of them, they will fall on the magenta side. And this particular light here on CCT, on the daylight, as you can see, is more inclined to the green side. And there's no green magenta correction on this light as far as I can see. And even though this is a RGB light, you don't find this feature right here. So for example, to match with other lights, you have to tune the other lights using their green magenta correction to tune with this light here. Now if you're having another light shooting something else on a background, that doesn't matter. Now if you're putting a light here as a key light and a fill light, you're definitely going to need to match those colors. Otherwise, this side is going to be a magenta and this side is going to be a little green. And again, the light is 0%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 15%, 20%, and all the way to 100 will look like this. So it's plenty of brightness here. So I like the fact that the 1% to 5%, 10%, it starts very gentle instead of like, you know, the already too bright 1%. And just like any other tube, including the TL60 Godox here, they are pretty much made of the same material. It's semi-flexible. When you press it in, you can see the thing squeezing a little bit. And the ends here is the same thing. They use ABS plastic, and it's pretty much construction-wise, this light and this light is pretty much the same thing. So if you actually drop this light, most likely you will not break the light. If this thing was made in glass, forget about it, it's gonna shatter. And also if these things were made of metal here, it will definitely increase the cost of the light. Not to mention, if I'm outside, I'm actually in Pennsylvania, it's very cold outside, so I don't want to be touching metal here. Also my tripods, or most of your tripods you guys have, it features that little cushion thing here to be comfortable in the hand when holding the lights in cold temperatures. So this is the way the lights are made, and most lights are made this way. When it comes to tube lights, I think these lights are for everybody. Filmmakers, also enthusiasts, or even, you know, people that like to shoot selfies or whatever. So there's many ways to use this light, and pretty much everybody can use these lights. Now let's talk about the Lollipop that comes included with this kit here. Whether you buy the 2 or the 4 kit, this comes included with the Lollipop thing. The only difference is because it's going to be a little shorter here. But the Lollipop actually holds the light pretty good. As you can see, you tighten it here, the light doesn't go anywhere. But you can still move the light slightly if you actually fully tighten, but this is not going to go anywhere. If you want to set this light this way, it's going to stay. If you want to set this way here, it's going to stay, or this way right here, it will stay. But to avoid wear and tear on the ball head here, make sure you always loosen this, and then you do your positioning here, and then you tighten it down. Now comparing this mount here with the Godox TL60 mount, on the front they come exactly with the same material here, this PVC-ish rubber kind of material here. It's the same color, it feels the same, and the same way they mount here is the same identical thing. Other than the Godox might seem a little bit more robust here, this Lollipop thing, the mount here, but they both have the same function. When you tighten it down, they're not going anywhere. So the best and safest way to mount your light tubes here, what you want to do is to position the holder in this particular position here, tighten it down. So to install the tube, the best way would be for you to actually hold the base with these 2 fingers here, and the index and the thumb, you can actually push it straight down. I actually like to rotate it a little bit. So you actually do this here, push it down, and rotate a little bit, and then it sits right here. To release, the same exact way, with these 2 remaining fingers here, grab the base at the same time when you actually push it up with the thumb and index finger. So this finger is gonna pull down, and this is gonna push up, right? So here, and then there. The tube doesn't fall, there's no way to actually have any accidents here. On the back of the pan, you're going to see these 4 little slots here, which also help you to secure the light when actually mounted upwards. Everything is still loose, but I just want to show you, if you want to tilt it this way, you notice this little space here prevents the thing from twisting, right? And then when you do it this way, it prevents the unit from doing this. Once you find the desired position, whether it is this way here, or all the way up, or all the way to the side here, you just tighten this down. And if you need more tightening, just move the ratchet knob this way here, you can continue to tighten. Or you can also mount this light this way, use these 2 fingers against the plate here, while you're actually working on your thumb and index finger. And to remove the tube here safely, just place whatever finger you feel comfortable against the plate here, while the other ones, they're actually pushing the light out. Or you can also use one at a time, here and then there. Same exact way here, you can do one here and the other one. So here and there. Another thing for you to keep in mind, because of the laws of physics, sometimes they work in a way that we don't like, right? So these lights, they come built in with the Q20 thread, which is located right here where it says BD100. The power supply jack is right here, so the thread is right there. Because here's the thing. When I actually hold the light this way, is like almost weightless, because these tubes, they are so light, right? So you can hold it with the pinky and all. But as soon as you start holding the thing from the very end here, the fatigue here is enormous. It makes this tube seem to weigh like, 100 pounds right here. If you hold this for another minute, you're gonna be shaking your arm this way. So the same exact way when you mount on a C-stand or any other stand, regardless if it is a ball mount or whatever it is, keep in mind the stress here is going to be ridiculous. So if you don't want to break this, this is actually made of ABS plastic. Even if it was made of metal, it will break this thread as soon as you move that stand if the light is actually placed any way other than vertical, because right now gravity is just pulling down this way here, just like the other stand here. The stand is actually not having any stress whatsoever, right? So if you don't want to break your light, this is what I recommend you to do. Never do this to the stand, never land it this way here, because this light is going to be bumping this way and you are definitely going to break this. I cannot stress this enough. So every time this light is in a position other than vertical here, Every time you do this, this and that, mount it here very carefully, and then set your angle here, whatever you want to do. And then when you raise the stand, be very careful. Don't go like crazy, because the light, if you let the light bounce this way, you're going to break this light, or any other tube light. I don't care how much metal you got here, you're going to break the thread. Then you raise the switch here, very careful, very slowly. And then you actually do your angle there, whatever it is they want to do. Lock it down, release very slowly, and do not move the stand. If you want to move the stand, guess what? Remove the light here, put the stand this way here, whatever, put it back there, change the angle, and again, do not move the stand. Now, if you want to position this light to any angle this way here with the included Lollipop holder, you can do it, because it's actually holding the light on a very center here. Even if you slide the light all the way here like I'm doing right now, it's fine. But you notice that it's going to be actually a lot more difficult to tighten it down. So what I recommend is that you actually put it in the middle here. And this is actually the best way to use. Because the thing is actually grabbing the tube like this here. It's nothing like holding from here to the very tip of it. Here's an example using 4 lights the way they came, without any diffusion, any modification whatsoever. So I'm using this one here as a key light, this one as a fill, the other one here, as you can see, as a little color splash in the background there, so you can easily hide the light. And finally the top one here as a hair light, slightly warmer to 4200 degrees Kelvin, while everything else here in the front is at 5600 degrees Kelvin, which of course you can actually change the color temperature to whatever you want. So as you can see, you can actually use these lights however way you want. You can actually do a little interview kind of setup, or music videos with the tubes all over the place, all over the frame. And obviously you're probably going to connect all 4 tube lights on the included Lollipop holder here. And to even improve the diffusion, try to actually put something in front of the lights to improve the diffusion, such as one of those collapsible translucent materials, those discs that you see, the twisty ones, right? So put those discs in front of the light. They should provide you a very pleasant light source, very well diffused, and again, it's going to be looking like a bigger light source. So I would definitely recommend that you actually put a translucent, some kind of a diffuser material, whatever you got, in front of these panels, if you want to do like a big key light for an interview or anything similar to what you want to do as a key light. So to be honest with you, yes, the applications, they can actually be a great help. And I'm actually a big fan of remote control. Some lights, they actually provide the app use and also the optional purchase, or even they come included with the remote, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of remote control, because I don't want my phone, my 13 Pro Max, to actually accidentally fall on the ground because I was fun with the app. Maybe my hands get sweaty and the phone will accidentally fall. So I'm a big fan of the remote control, and also it's a lot easier. Just click on the ID thing and the lights work, right? When I am on my production set, such as a corporate video, weddings, or somebody hired me as a DP to shoot the movies that they're doing there, the last thing that comes to me to even remind myself that these lights actually, they come with an app control. I already have my assistants. They can actually set up these lights however way I want, however distance, tweak the light, RGB, CCT, a little cooler, a little warmer. So I particularly don't need the app myself. I would say I have here over 120 pieces of lighting here to play with, and none of them I use the app. Sometimes I don't even use the remote control. Again, I have my assistants to do this work for me. So let's launch the app here. So right now I have the lights configured the way I want. So right now I have just this light here set as the app light, and this one's here set as the slave. So this light is currently set as channel 1, and this channel 2, channel 3, and channel 4. This is why they're not working together. So they have to be in the same channel. Again, set one of these lights as the application, on the back says app, and then slave, slave, slave. So I'm gonna change the channel here to everything channel 1. If the app light is on channel 4, change everything to channel 4, and then same exact thing is going to happen. So right now this happens to be a channel 1, so let's change to channel 1 here. Alright, so this one is in channel 1, channel 1, channel 3, channel 4. As you can see, both lights are working equally right now. Channel 1, channel 1. All I have to do is to change that light to channel 1 as well. Now with this light, that I decided to have this light as the app, and then slave, slave, slave. Now they're all going to be working together, as you can see here. You can also do this. They're all going to be changing to the same exact thing. Even the effects here. They're all going to be doing the same thing. So you can actually temporarily mute one light, if you will. If you want to disable the light in the back here, all you have to do is change the channel or put that one as a master. Anything other than app and slave, I'm going to show you right now. So I actually changed that one to RGB, whatever color that is. So as you can see, all three lights are going to be working together, except that one. All I did is to simply change the channel on the light. And of course, all the lights we have connected together here, when you press the power button here, they're all going to be turning off, except the other one over there, because they're set to master and a different channel. So let's go back to the light setting as slave and the same channel one here. So all I did is set to a slave. I did not touch the light. That's why it's still lighting up in blue. As soon as I start messing with the controls here, and then that's when it picks it up. Now, if you want to control these lights separately via the app, good luck. I tried every single possibility and combination by switching device here. So what would make sense, each MAC address will correspond to a particular light here. So whatever MAC address it is on the top one, you find what light it is and select as channel 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, which you actually have to set the channel here, not through the back of the unit, because if you change the channel here, the channel is going to change there. Each light has a particular MAC address and they all should stay where they are. So when you actually connect to the first one, whichever one that happens to be twitching or blinking here, okay, that's the light number 3, fine. And then the connect number 2, whichever light picks up here, and then you put a piece of tape or whatever you want to do, and then you connect, you know this is going to be always that light, right? But what's happening here, when you click connect on the first, second, third, and fourth, regardless of what you do, the light is going to be actually changing the order of the MAC IDs here, which makes this thing virtually impossible to control unless they change the design of the firmware or this app here, and then it should be also very easy to do. And also, even if you decide to hit connect on the very first one here, the MAC address is going to be changing the orders randomly. So I don't know why this is happening. So it will be virtually impossible. So right now I have the lights on a proper exposure here the way I want. So they look like this here, right? So let's click the connect here. I'm also going to tell you up front that if you try to connect here, 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 and there, it's not going to work either. So I'm going to be simplifying to try to connect always as the first, since the MAC IDs, they change. So let's hit connect here on the very first one here. Forget about the other 3 here. So let's do this. Let's see what I'm going to get here. It's like playing the lotto. So I'm going to connect here first on the very top, connect. Right now I'm on channel 1, beautiful, which is this light right here, which I set this light to channel 1. And if you change the channel here to channel 2, I'm not going to do that. The channel is going to be also updating over there. So let's leave it at channel 1. So I can still control this light the way I want. Good. I think it looks good here. It's too bright. I don't know. So let's connect the first option on the very top again. Connect. You see that the ID is going to change. It's no longer channel 1. Now it's on channel 4. And I hit the top connect, right? So right now I'm at the background light right there. So leave it this way here and hit connect again. Again, I'm talking about the top here. Channel 3, great, that's the hair light. As long as I can get all 4 here without, 16 attempts, this is good. Let's see what I'm gonna get, again, hitting the top connect here. And back to channel 1, I want the channel 2 here. So let's do that again. Channel 3, no, that's not what I want. You see, this is not good. Channel 1 again. Oh, jeez. Channel 3, no, not my lucky day. Channel 4, no, that's not what I want. I want channel 2. Connect again. Channel 2, yes! There you go. Now it's this light right here, the fill light. So as long as these MAC addresses, they keep randomly changing the order here, this shouldn't move, okay? So you know this particular one here is this, but they randomly change the order. So this is not the first time that I actually review a GVM product here. I mean, the actual hardware, the lights themselves, they're great. They're very useful. As you can see, everything looks very nice. But the only thing that they need to really change, and this is urgent, to redesign this whole thing here, at least on the part that controls the lights separately, because, the other brands like Godox or newer, the apps are so easy. When you click on the second, third, or fourth, or sixth, or eighth light, and nothing's going to be changing there. So again, I think the lights are great, and just the only thing they have to do here is to fix the application. And once that's done, I'm going to be immediately putting on the description and also maybe a pinned comment there so you guys know, hey, the app has been fixed. Update the app and we should be all happy here. Because again, the light itself, I think they're great. but the app, it needs some major fixing. And of course, you can actually add a device as the BLE devices. I'm not sure what the SIGMesh BLE devices are, or the SIGMesh groups. And if you add device here, set your device in Bluetooth pairing mode. Okay, I believe they are, because I set this one as app. So let's go to the actual Bluetooth on my iPhone here, settings, Bluetooth, and you see a list of all the BT LEDs here, which they are all 4 here, which they already set to Bluetooth to the app. If you actually set it to master or slave, the thing's gonna disappear here, right? So let's connect the first one here. Takes a while. I want to do this in real time. There's no other way to do this, so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let's connect just one more. I'm connecting 2 lights. Okay, so I have the 2 of these lights connected on the Bluetooth thing that they ask, and I let the other 2 as regular. So when you actually go back to the app here, you notice there are only 2 now, connect, and this is when you actually come here. So let's do the SIGMesh groups, right? So create group, and then set up. At least one device needs to be added. Isn't that what I just did? So go back here and add device. By the way, the create group, it says create group. It's misspelled here. So let's go back to the top here, add device, and set your device in Bluetooth pairing mode. I believe, again, this is what I did. In the manual, there's no micro detail or any detail whatsoever beyond the regular thing. The only thing that's on the manual is to how to set up this light as the app, and the other one set to slave, and then they're all going to be changing and everything, change the channels. But you operate the 4 lights individually. The manual is nowhere near to find that information there. Please confirm the control type of your device model first. Okay, different device firmware. Device search and connection methods are also different. Whatever that means, it's not really clear the English here. So when you click on the blue here, set your device in Bluetooth pairing mode. Okay, so let's see what they got for us here. You need to make sure that the device is Bluetooth pairing mode. I believe they are. And that the display status is different devices is slightly different. Please refer to the product description for specific status. The device can only be connected to one user. You know, that means, like, you know, as you connect a Bluetooth speaker, if I want my wife to use the Bluetooth speaker, I have to actually kick off my Bluetooth ID here so she can actually log in. That part, I got it. And app needs to be, this is the number 3 right now, the app needs to be allowed to use the network and Bluetooth permission. You can actually turn it on in the phone setting and keep the network and Bluetooth smooth to use. I check my location services, everything is on. And by the way, the app is not listed there. So even if they want the location services on, there's no way to actually turn it on because the app is not listed there, because usually all the apps that appear there. Honestly, I don't know what else to do, and I do have a VPN on this phone, which of course the VPN is disabled because otherwise the location services wouldn't work, and I don't know why they need to know the location for this application to work. No idea. So I'm gonna be actually owing you guys the rest of the procedure here to create groups and whatever this SIGMesh groups or SIGMesh BLE devices are, because there's nothing I can do right now. So I'm gonna be ending the app tutorial here to the best of my ability, to what I could demonstrate to you guys. Now, if you guys get any of these lights with this app here, if you figure out how to control all 4 lights individually with the app, please let me know on the comment section. And even if you actually made a video for this, please share the link, because we all want to know. So here's the back of the panel. You press and hold the power button. Since you're going to be holding from here, they also did a little lock here. So all you have to do is to press this button quickly twice, and the lock is engaged. To unlock, press it twice again, and it's out of there. Right now we are 5600 degrees Kelvin, daylight, and just to let you know why the finish is a little gray on the background there, because the screen here, this is a home theater screen, which is a semi-gray finish, is not white. The purpose of that is to increase the contrast of a movie and also deeper color. So this button here, what it does right now, I'm on brightness. If you press one more time, you can actually change the color temperature. Press one more time, it goes back to the brightness here. So the brightness ranges from 0% in 1% increments all the way to 100%. You can actually do manually 1 and 1%. If you press and hold, it's gonna go by decimals here. Very quickly to the 100%. You press this button again, it jumps to the color temperature, which ranges from 100 degree Kelvin increments from 3200 degrees Kelvin all the way to 5600 degrees Kelvin. You press the gear button here. First choice is to set the light as master. You can actually press the minus and plus buttons here. So master, app, slave, back to master. To change the channel, simply press this button here. It varies from channel 1 to 12. Then you press this button once again. You're going to see the firmware version, which I don't know how exactly you're going to be updating the firmware here since this light features no USB or an Ethernet jack. Press it again, goes back to the previous settings, which is the master, slave, app, back to master. And also note that really matters, but this little icon here changes as you select from master, slave, and then app. Has a little iPhone little logo there or icon, and then back to master. To get out of this page, simply press the gear button again. Press the M button, switches to the HSI. Press it once again, switches to the effect or scene. Press it once again, goes back to the CCT page. So I'm going to go press M to take you to the HSI. Same exact thing with the brightness here. This button lets you control the hue, and this other button lets you control the saturation. Press the M button again, takes you to the effects page, which there are 8. You press the minus and plus buttons here, switch to the next one, cop car, candle, TV, bed bulb, party, disco, paparazzi. When you press and hold, it's going to quickly change to the first effect here. Press this button here, takes you to the brightness. Press it again, takes you to the time. For example, in a party mode, you press this button here, it's going to let you switch the time. Right now it's at 100 milliseconds, it acts this way. If you do like 500, which is a half a second, the color is going to change every half a second. This is down to 1 second delay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 2 seconds here. And all the way to 5 seconds. Press the mode button again, takes you back to the CCT page. So do I recommend this light for you guys? That really depends on your own judgment, how you feel about this light with the cons here. So if you can actually live with the fact that when you actually charge this light, the actual charging gauge there doesn't really stop to tell you when the batteries are fully charged, and also the inability, or at least it's not really easy at all to operate this light using the app, at least individually. If you can actually live with these two things, yes, I definitely recommend this light because again, the hardware is great. This is the longest tube that I've seen. So pretty much the only thing that they need to really fix on the app is the fact that, when you actually click on connect here, what happens is this light suddenly goes randomly to this stack right here, and then this one here happens to be the first one. So this is what happens. The light keeps doing this here. So if they keep every single connect with the Bluetooth ID without moving, then you can actually set this light to channel 1, channel 2, 3, and 4, and that's the end of the problem. So I don't know how they're gonna be updating the firmware on this because again, there's no USB or Ethernet port on this light. Again, the two issues are the app with controlling the lights themselves individually and also the charging thing here. So that's the end of my review. By the way, if you want to use my affiliated links there, I would appreciate it because these videos are so much work to do. So I would really appreciate the little tiny commission that I received there, and this doesn't cost you anything extra whatsoever. It's the same as clicking on a regular link. And also if you have any questions or whatever, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I'll respond to everything that I see there. So once again, thank you so much for your time watching my video, and I'll see you next time.